Hello, it's fun to be with you again on this edition of Marital Issues. Welcome. Fixing your marital conflicts. It is not possible for two different human beings to live together under the same roof, never to argue, never to disagree on issues or get offended. Your capacity to manage conflict in your marital relationship is actually one of the factors that make you a spouse. This is why marriage is not for minors but for adults. Couples who you see and describe as perfect and never in conflict have only devised strategies for managing conflict in their relationship. Whether you believe it or not, marital conflict has a spiritual background. Therefore, it can hardly be managed effectively relying only on your personal powers and abilities. Believe it when I tell you that people went through situations worse than your current challenge and came out. How? Jesus Christ said in John chapter 15 verse 5, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. You think you have exhausted your human efforts, right? Now listen, Titus chapter 2 verse 11 says, for the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people. God's grace is just sufficient for you, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. You need the grace of God that flows through the Lord Jesus Christ to handle challenges in your marital relationship. You need to tap into the available grace. Listen, if you are currently facing challenges in your marital relationship and you believe that the doors to fixing the issue are closed, you may be wrong, There are so many things that you possibly have not done to fix it. I tell you, just take a listen for a few more minutes and you may discover something. Yes, you have challenges in your marriage. What exactly are you supposed to do to fix it? Number one, resist the urge to retaliate. Yes, when hurt by your spouse, retaliation is not an option because your spouse is a part of you. Remember also that peace in your marital relationship is more important than winning an argument or conflict. Besides, no award awaits the winner of a quarrel. Only Satan celebrates if self-control is not applied. So, resist the urge to retaliate. Number two, perceive your spouse correctly. Perceive your spouse correctly. Many marital relationships break down because of one party's wrong perception of the marriage. There's a difference between husband and man. There's a difference between wife and woman. Man and woman are identities. Every human being is one of the two, right? Husband and wife are responsibilities taken by choice and is not mere identity. Your spouse is a part of you and not just anybody outside. Your spouse, therefore, requires your special and unique attention and treatment, just like your body. Number three, apologize to your spouse. A simple, I am sorry, can put off a rising fire. If you have been in a marital relationship for years and you have never been wrong, if you believe you are always right after a quarrel with your spouse and you are always the one that deserves a sorry, you are simply an emotional blackmailer, full of ego and self. Your relationship is just an experiment. And if the Spirit of God is not invited to intervene in this matter, you might end up with a bitter lesson. Apologize to your spouse when you offend. And when apology is given to you, be quick to forgive. Oh yes. Number four, avoid the devil's cooking pot. There is no quarrel without the devil behind the scene. When your argument with your spouse is getting hotter than an electric high tension wire and emotions are rising, it may be wise for you to excuse yourself politely and walk away from that sin to enable nerves calm down. You may need to go into another room or take a brief walk until emotions go down. Proverbs chapter 17 verse 4 says something. It says, the beginning of strife is like letting out water. So, quit before the quarrel breaks out. It is also a good time to pray to God for self-control, for patience, and for understanding. Number 5, watch your utterances. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 18 says, thoughtless speech is like the stab of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. Irrespective of the subject or level of provocation or argument, never forget the fact that you are addressing your better half. There are words you cannot use for your spouse. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 31 says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Avoid abusive words and hurtful accusations. Accusations such as, I know you don't care about me. What? Does not care about you, and the person took his entire family to go and see your family years ago? Avoid any form of violence. Avoid name calling. Avoid threats. These are fueling elements that could ignite unprecedented fire. Besides, your children are watching, and you are empowering them with virtues that can give you problems in your old age, possibly make you regret bearing children, and negatively affect your children's marital life in future. Number 6, be patient. Yes, be patient. With patience, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. That's in Proverbs chapter 25, verse 15. Be patient with your spouse. Charity suffereth long and is kind. That's what 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 says. Be patient. Number 7, listen to your spouse. If, for instance, you believe that all women, including your spouse, are the same and do not have any progressive ideas to offer, you will find it difficult to develop a listening attitude towards your wife. In this case, peace will definitely elude that relationship, because no one person is a know-it-all except God himself. Listen to suggestion, receive it, compare, discuss, pray, consider factors, and then jointly take a decision. Herein lies the joy of marriage. If you cannot judge with your spouse, tell me, with whom can you do it? Listen to your spouse. Number 8, consider your contribution to the conflict. Whenever there's a conflict or quarrel, ask yourself, what is my own contribution to this problem? Then you make amends. Do not start with a blame game in your heart or seeking and discovering what your partner did not do right. You will only be extending further the journey to conflict resolution and peace. Number 9, drop yourself. Drop yourself. You see, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. In Matthew chapter 16 verse 24, Jesus said to his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. If you are still under the rule of self in marriage, if you stick to a whole me syndrome, you may never have a joyful marriage. Peaceful marriage involves compromise. It involves sacrifice. It involves forgiveness and true love. Put success of the relationship above quest to prove a point that you are a god. There is nothing whole about you, my dear. There is nothing whole about you if you cannot respect your Creator and humble yourself before Him and obey His instructions. We can extend this conversation. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video. Help someone somewhere, please. For more information or maybe prayers, counsel, and questions, you can send an email to marriagecanwork@yahoo.com or reach us with the contact on your screen. I am Albinus Chiedu. I love you. God bless you.